perform at that level. So location, hang time, distance, obviously, and there's a lot more that plays into it. We need a quick op time, otherwise you'll have block punts, you'll have inconsistencies there. So there's a lot of different factors that they look at, but when it comes to me, I'm just focused on trying to do the same thing every time and not, oh, this punt I'm going to try to go for more distance. I'm trying to have consistent punts that'll play well for our team. So, 60-yard punt is great, but if it's 4 seconds of hang time, they're going to return it back, and that's not a great team punt. So 45-45, that's a perfect ball that I want to hit for our team.
Is there something about Memorial Stadium specifically, the conditions that's different or distinct?
Nothing too different. It's swirls in there, but every stadium you go to, there's different ways that the wind will come from the north, come from the south. I'm really excited to see, how I perform this season out there because we've gotten a lot of work out there, and I feel very comfortable in the stadium. And I'm super blessed to have the teammates that I do around me to help me go out there, each and every play. I'm just super excited to see what happens.
You give any thought to the conditions might be in Ireland?
Yeah, it should be not too bad. A little bit of rain, maybe not. Who knows? But I'm not really too worried about that. It was raining out there today, and we punted outside only because that's what we want to get, as much work as we can in. But growing up in Montana, we played in a lot of weather, all winter long. It was snowing. There was waterlogged footballs I was hitting, so not really concerned about the weather at all. And I'm really excited to see how the team performs out there.
Anybody else on special teams that impresses you? A gunner, a returner, blocker, long snapper?
Yeah, everyone, just the emphasis they put on there. There's a real, kind of Coach Busch is talking about it. Punt is an invite-only team. We got a lot of starters on punt, and I'm really excited. Just coming up from Montana, we got a lot more athletic, a lot more speed out there on the field, and so I'm excited to see how that translates, especially when it gets to the shorter punts, down inside the 10. It's really a punter-gunner game. I'm trying to just kick it in the air and almost have the gunner catch the ball down at the 8-yard line. So I'm really excited to see how we can perform in that area, and I think we've got some really good guys able to do that.
Is there a vocal aspect to it as the punter? Are you kind of the vocal leader of that group, or what's that look like?
Yeah, I think I just want to be the kind of guy that leads more in the silent role by the way that I do my work. I'm not going to be super high, but not going to be super low either. I kind of want to be a steady person for the group because, at times in special teams, if you miss one, you can get a little too low, but then if you make a really big one, you might be too high on your horse as well. So I just want to be really steady and kind of push the guys as much as I can, but not get too overbearing as well.
You felt, Brian, that this has been a steady, somewhat uneventful, kind of drama-free month?
Yeah, this has been a really smooth camp for me personally. I've been super happy. Yeah, it's just been, everyone's just growing together. With how many new guys we have here, that's kind of what you want to look for. You want everyone to mesh together really well. And you don't want there to be any, kind of culture killers on the team. And there's nothing that I can really point to so far as far as that. Because I know back in Montana, from my experience, we had a really good locker room, and there's nothing here that is any different. I love the guys on this team, and I'm really, really glad I came.
The gunner piece of it, you guys have a lot of offensive guys on the punt unit.
Yeah.
How does that kind of help make your job easier when you've got, we saw Ramir and Alante and those guys at gunner? How does that help you?
It just gives me a lot more confidence. I got really a ton of respect for Ramir in particular. I think that he's one of the hardest workers I know on the team. I'm really excited to have those guys out there, Buford as well. Just they put that as an emphasis in their game as well, and that really means a lot to me because I know a lot of places you could go and they wouldn't take the punt as seriously, and it's not like that here at all, especially with the way that we're trying to change things from last season and years before. So I've just been super excited, to have those guys around me, and so far in camp it's been going really well, and I just hope that translates over to game day.
Ever hear from guys that are just like, man, it's great to have you here with some of the struggles that you've had?
Yeah, it's just the guys are really supportive. If I had a big punt practice, they'll tell me great job. If something doesn't go as well during practice, they'll be there to pick me up as well. And I've just been super blessed as far as God putting my wife and I here in Lincoln for reasons that He has part of our great plan. And I'm just super thrilled to have guys around me that they're happy I'm here, but I'm also happy that I'm on this team with them because we've got a lot of really good guys, and I'm super excited.
Your wife gets to go next week?
No, she's staying home, but she'll be there for North Dakota. And honestly, it'll be nice being able to come home to her instead of having to wait a day for her to fly back. So.
I apologize if you've been asked. How's your camp, August camp, gone compared to spring?
Much better. Yeah, this has been by far the best camp I've had in my time as a punter, high school, college. I just got a lot more consistent this summer, getting some good work in. I'm super excited to see hopefully what the punt team can do this fall. I've got some really good players around me. Long snapping is a really high level. Coverage is at a really high level, and I'm just super excited.
What's the play that really gets you jazzed? Is it pinning someone inside the 5? Is it a high hang time?
Yeah, I think it's performing in a clutch situation. That's what really gets me going. So if we're, up by 8 or 7 points and there's 5 minutes left in the game and just hitting a really good field flipping punt that really kind of kills the other team's mojo, that's what gets me going. Because if I hit a big punt but it's kind of we're up by 40, that doesn't mean as much to me as helping out my team to win the game. That's what really gets me going the most.
So why do you think it's gone so much better in August?
Absolutely. I'm focusing on a new spot on the football. So when I hold the ball, I'm looking right through the nozzle now, and every time that I swing my leg, I envision swinging right through the nozzle, and my consistency has gone up a lot. I've gotten those tips, guys across the NFL told me that. Sam Cook, Johnny Hecker, my coach Mike McCabe, all these guys have told me the same thing about switching where I look on the football. And right away it was kind of a learning curve, but I've gotten used to it now, and I'm performing much more consistently than I have been at any point in the past.
Where had you been looking before?
Kind of underneath the ball, really at nothing, if I'm being honest. It's just like there's a curve down there, and I was like, I'll probably hit it there, but switch the spot I'm looking at, and it's been really good so far, and I'm just super blessed to have the coaches that I do. And Coach Busch has been in contact with some of those guys as well, and we're just feeding information through each other and having a really steady line of communication, so we know what we're looking for at each aspect, and we'll have good communication on the sideline before I run out for a punt, so we know exactly what we're looking for on a particular play too. So I'm really excited about that.
How would you describe Coach Busch's energy?
Yeah, it's infectious, I'll tell you that. Every morning we go walk into that special teams room, and he's getting the guys going, yelling, getting super excited, but bringing the energy every day. I think that's one thing about being a special teams coach that's different than the other positions, is you have to deal with more guys than any other coach on the team. And the more energy that you bring as a special teams coach, I think the guys can just feel his passion and how much he wants us to be good. And I think that's really bled down into the guys, and we have just a fire under our tails this year just to go out there and perform. He's going to put us in really good situations to, perform at the highest that we can, and I'm just excited to see what the team, can do this year.
Who suggested that change with looking at the nozzle? Did you make that, or who suggested that?
Yeah, so originally it was Johnny Hecker, and then Sam Cook, I asked him, and then Gerald Foltz, Sam Foltz's dad, talked to me a little bit about Sam's, time punting, and just the more I talked with different guys, it kind of seemed like an obvious thing that would, take my game to the next level. And I really talked with Sam Cook a lot about it, and he was anytime you change something, it might not be a smooth transition. You might perform worse than on the first couple of weeks practicing. And Sam was like, that's what took me from being a 2-year NFL punter to a 16-year NFL punter, is making changes that you have to make. And I personally felt like if I wanted to take my game to the next level, that was a change that I would have to make as well.
I'm sorry, what's the nozzle of the ball?
It's where the air goes in, kind of like that little spot.
That's where you look.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to take a certain mindset, right? I mean, because you were doing it at a high level last year, so to still want to be adaptable and to change, takes a certain attitude.
I really appreciate that, but I look at my film from last year, and there's so many different things that I can improve on, especially when I get to the FBS level and hopefully, Lord willing, the NFL level. Hang time is a huge emphasis. Direction is a huge emphasis, and consistency. You have to be able to hit a turnover and count on it when you need it. And so I was comfortable with what I was hitting, but this spring I wasn't happy as happy as I was like, man, I got to keep getting better and better. And I was thinking, man, what can I do to get better? And just decided to take a leap, and it's worked out so far. I do have to say I'm super happy to have my wife in my life, because she's probably been the best thing that's ever happened to me, and she keeps me steady through all the ups and downs too. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to her as well, because she's really awesome, and I'm just super blessed to have her as well.
What's her name?
Brian Buschini, and her name is Kelly.
What's her name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
I-E. K-E-L-L-I-E.
K-E-L-L-I-E.
Yeah.
You guys have players over to your house?
Yep, we had a specialist barbecue. That's one thing that I'm really thrilled about, is we have a really cool special teams room. I just really love every guy that I get to come, to work with pretty much every day. And so, yeah, we had them over this summer. And, anytime they want to come over and watch some Sunday football this fall, they'll be welcome. So.
Are you doing the barbecue?
I did a little bit of it, but I don't know how well it turned out. We got some mixed reviews, so we'll see.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Brian.